And we're live. Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, December 8th, and the time is 8:03 p.m. Let's check out what the temperature is. I've got a little weather doodad. You can see it's minus 4 degrees outside now, although with the wind chill, it's certainly a heck of a lot colder than that. And I'm here in Midtown Toronto, and I thought, let's just watch some videos together, and we can do a bit of a Q&A and kind of hang out. Usually, I don't do this kind of thing that often, but I was kind of busy yesterday. I recorded a video last night and I went out, and then I didn't have a particularly great sleep. And then today it was snowing, so I went out and I made 2 videos, including one that a lot of people have been asking for. So I've basically got content ready to go all the way until Sunday. Tomorrow's video is done, and so tomorrow's Thursday, yeah, and then I have 3 more after that. So I am loaded with videos, so I thought, since I want to take it easy tonight, let's do a stream like this, and then probably Thursday or Friday I'll get out and start moving around the city. So without further ado, I'm going to start playing an older video, but it's appropriately a snowfall walk, and this might be one of my most popular videos ever. In fact, a lot of these ones are, because that's kind of what people look forward to in the winter on this channel. So let me fire up the first video. Let me turn off the weather. Yeah, this one is actually on my front page under
Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another walk through Toronto.
my popular
We recorded
uploads.
This on the afternoon of Saturday,
I'm just going to
January
check the
18th,
audio
during
here
what
just
has
to
been
make
our
sure that
biggest
everything
snowfall
sounds all
of the
right.
year so far. I start out on Front Street, just across from Union Station, and head over to University
And I jumped the
Avenue,
gun on that
then I work
because
my way
I've got
down
this stream
Richmond
up
Main
on the
Street
big
and
screen.
cut through Chinatown
And it's
Baldwin
about
Village before making
20,
my way
30
over to
seconds
the
ahead
skating
of
rink at
this
City
or
Hall.
behind
Despite the
this.
heavy
So
snow,
let
it
me
was only minus 2 degrees
just make sure
Celsius,
that
and the distance walked was
we're all
4.5
in
kilometers.
working order
Thanks
here.
for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos from Toronto and abroad. Enjoy the walk.
Okay, I think it's good. So I see a lot of people in the chat here tonight. I would love to greet you all by name, but there's a heck of a lot of you, so I'm just going to say hello to everyone, a lot of familiar faces and some new ones. So yeah, feel free to ask almost anything you want. If it's inappropriate, I'm just going to ignore it. If it's really inappropriate, you'll probably see your question get removed. Any supers I will absolutely answer, again, within reason. And, even personal stuff, I'll be the judge if I want to answer it or not. Don't be offended if I don't answer it. Don't be offended if I ignore you. There's a lot of chat rolling by, and I just can't get to everyone. But, yeah, let's kind of have a laid-back, relaxed viewing experience. A bit of a watch party. I did something like this last Friday, except that was using footage that I made just for the stream. So we've taken the lazy route tonight, and I'm using old footage, but this is footage where I shut up, and we're gonna let the natural ambience kick in. Bevy says, "What about COVID?" If it's relative, I mean, anti-science stuff or anything off the deep end, no. But if it's just like basic stuff, I don't see how that's bad. Patrick says, "Good morning from the Philippines, Johnny." Patrick, thank you for the 125 Philippine pesos. And
good morning from the Philippines, Johnny.
And I think I'm just gonna dig into my land of unread emails here. But if you're who I think you are, yes. So Patrick sent me an awesome design that I think there might be a few little tweaks. I'm going to email you back, but we might finally be getting some merch out. Here I was looking for someone to kind of design me some merch and try to get the ball rolling on that, and someone just reached out and sent me something saying you're free to use it. So thank you, Patrick. I think I'm going to go with this. And I will be happy to send you some as a thank you. And we have a question. Alex says, favorite movie of all time. That's a good question. I was thinking the movies that I have watched the most. I'll get to that in a second. Mike Landry says, hey, Johnny and everyone. Hey, Mike Landry. Welcome to the stream all the way from the East Coast. Thank you for the $5, Mike Landry. And for the stream tonight, I'll be drinking Boodle's Gin as the top of the bottle disappears. I kind of limited my green screen there.
Hey Johnny and everyone.
Ooh, ooh. You can see my microphone peeking up. There's a bit of a green tinge in my hair. Maybe I have the lighting slightly different than last time, but... So to get to Alex's question, thank you again. Mike? Oh, I can't ignore a super chat question. Liz, $2.79. How much was that haircut? Thank you for the $2.79, Liz. We'll let my assistant read the question here while I take a sip of gin. Dan says gin and tonic is clutch. All I have are...
How much was that haircut?
All I have are cans of beer that have green in them, so that doesn't work too well. And I am watching the video along with you guys. That's why I'm kind of looking off to the side, if you're wondering why I'm not looking straight. How much was the haircut? That's a good question. The haircut was $45 with tax and everything. I went to a place where it's usually $40 if you pay cash, but if you pay with your card, because I didn't have any cash, it was $45. And then I usually tip 5 or 10 on top of that, and I forget what I tipped this time, but yeah, it was less than $55. But they did a pretty good fade. I didn't do it justice. I just kind of quickly threw some shit in it before the stream. But yeah, $45 plus tip, so that's kind of reasonable. D. Mussolino, $4.99 with no question here. I did promise to get to any questions that people super. So D, if you have any questions you want me to answer, go ahead and ask, and I'll be more than happy to address it. Thank you for the $4.99, D. Mussolino. You're drinking gin straight. No, it's with tonic. So Alex, my favorite movie of all time, the movies I have watched more than any other movie. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's probably the movie I've seen more than anything, but that's not necessarily my favorite movie. Army of Darkness is probably number one. I have seen Lost in Translation a million times, so that's how I would vet what's my favorite movie. Yeah, Army of Darkness, Lost in Translation. What else have I seen a whole lot? Super Troopers, although that was more of a doing funny stuff with friends kind of movie. Citizen Kane, I think is brilliant. I've seen that a whole bunch of times. Is that it? There's got to be some others. Kung Pao, Enter the Fist, I think is an absolute riot. So that's on my favorite list. So thanks for the question, Alex. Rolling with Ian remembers when he used to pay $25. Jacqueline Wilson, $4.99. Jacqueline Wilson, thank you so much. You can attach a question to your super chats, by the way. But thank you, Jacqueline Wilson. Tom Bikes 416, women's haircuts are so expensive. Tip on top of it is crazy. Yeah, and I was talking to my hairdresser about that, and she said doing a fade like mine is actually a lot harder than like 80% of the haircut she gives to women. So even though our cost is cheaper, chances are most guys have kind of basic cuts where you make it shorter, so I guess that's why it's cheaper on general. But she's like, if any guy asks for a fade or anything that requires any attention to detail, it's instantly more time consuming and harder than a girl's haircut. Well, not more time consuming, but it takes more effort. So maybe prices should not just be one, a unisex price. I don't know. Ava Sinclair, $5. Thank you, Ava Sinclair, for the $5. Very much appreciated. That is a long view where you're making in the video. Old belligerent lurker, how can I give you money? First and foremost, you don't have to. Don't ever feel pressured or obligated to do that. There is, if you want to do it anonymously with the least amount of service charges, there's a link to PayPal. There's a little dollar sign if you want to do a super chat underneath the chat. You can click that, and then your message will splash in front of everyone. I also have Patreon membership, and I have YouTube channel membership. So basically, the links to that are in the description if you wish to support what I do. But it's absolutely not necessary. Mike Landry says fades take about an hour. In my experience, they take less, but yeah, they definitely take a bit of time versus when they just slap a number 2 on there and go up and down. Is this real time? No, this video is actually from 2 years ago. I thought we'd break out some of the classics because in all my newer videos, I talk. Right? So since I'm already talking now, it would just be me talking over myself. So I'm actually building up a library of new silent-y ASMR type videos that I can use for streams like this. I also have another idea that I'm going to do. Possible new channel, but there's going to be a whole lot of new silent videos coming up, but they will not appear on this channel. Blackbox863 checking in. Hello, Blackbox863. Wing Zero will pay 25 after taxes. Barbara does a good job. Tony says, man, these live streams are the best. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it because the alternative is going out and freezing my butt off. And Ken did that yesterday. And it, like with the wind chill, it's like -10, -11. And had I not filmed 2 videos today earlier and completely tired myself out, I would absolutely be out there tonight doing it. But we're not, and I don't have the e-bike yet. That is still out of service. So hopping on that, putting on my balaclava and going for an e-bike spin and streaming is still not an option yet. Dan asks, are you fully vaccinated? Yes, that's very public information. You can see videos on that on my Stumbles channel. But I have 2 shots and no intentions on getting a booster unless someone holds a knife to my throat. But that's my stance on that. Yes, I am. You can, I'm not hiding that. I made videos about it on my other channel. Johnny, will you ever use a drone? The bylaws in Toronto are just such that drones are not practical. You have to be like so far away from buildings and in certain spots. It's just really annoying to legally do it. Hey Johnny, it's Rob and Mike here. Love the channel. Say a number between 1 and 10. I'm gonna say 1. Oh, but you said between 1 and 10, so 1 wouldn't count, or 10 would count, right? 2. 2 is the number. And Lisa says, and tonight. Yeah, I think we're below freezing, right? So this is not... I always say, like, Toronto's not that bad to ride your bike in the winter. Heck, even your e-scooter. But these are the days where we've just had a lot of precipitation and snow dumped on us, and it's below 0. Not a great idea until the road crews can get to it for a while, and we've had some above 0 temps. You tend to make videos of indoor spaces on cold days. Yeah, I do that too, but I love walking around in the cold. Like, I feel invigorated. Like, this morning I woke up feeling like absolute ass, and I went out and I made a video, and I'm like, this is it. I'm just going to do the one. I'm going to go home, sleep, and then maybe stream. And then I went and I had some lunch, and I was like, why not make another video? It's still snowing. Like, I just love being out there. This is the best weather to make videos, in my opinion. Robert says, Johnny, it's 7. Keep up the hard work. Sorry about that. Love your videos. Are you posting daily? Yes, I try to average about 2 pieces of content a day. If you add up my 2 channels, 1 daily video on this channel, except for if I fall behind, then I'll just do a single live stream. But I am trying to make 2 videos a day in total, including live streams, including stuff on my other channel. Dan says, I don't think you're considered fully vaccinated because you have 2 different vaccines. That is incorrect. Our government does consider that, as do a number of other countries. And if I travel and it's an issue, we'll cross that bridge when I get there. That is disinformation, sir. Lisa will go out when it's super cold as long as the camera still works. Monica says, when she's home, she feels crummy, but when she goes out to just do groceries, you feel invigorated. Yeah, it's there's just something about being out in the cold and walking around with a camera. I almost forgot how easy it is to crank out content in the winter. In the summer, it's a bit of a slog. It's hot. I'm inherently a bit lazy when I'm home, but once I get out, it's like, ooh. Live streaming out in the cold is different though, because I've got the gimbal in one hand and usually an umbrella in the other hand if it's windy, or a glove, and I can't like touch anything or do anything. So live streaming in the cold is way more annoying, but making these videos, I think this is the best time to do it. It's just, and everything looks different, right? So if I want to cover an area that I just covered last week, but it wasn't covered in snow and now it's covered in snow, people don't care. They're not going to be like, oh, I just saw King Street last week. Why are you doing it again? It's like everything is new again when we have this weather. So that's another awesome part of this. So we can monitor the weather from time to time. It is still -4 with a low of -5 and -2. Yeah, so tomorrow I think it's going to be a bit of a housekeeping day. I've got 3 videos to edit and upload. Tomorrow morning's is already up there, and then yeah, why is there's a YouTube subscribe button on the bottom right of the screen? I don't remember putting that there. Hold on. T.O. Steve says it's a bit energizing stepping out in the cold. I would agree. What's in Fahrenheit? -4. Since I've got my computer up with me. Patrick, I'm looking at your design again. Thank you so much. -4 C2 Fahrenheit is 24.8 Fahrenheit. That's one thing that I put at the start of all my videos. I noticed no one else was doing that. Action Kid was, so I lied, but no one else was doing that. Johnny, favorite season. My favorite season, I want to say fall because it's the prettiest, but really it's spring because our winters are so long and draining. Aside from making these invigorating snow walks, that when you get that first day in spring where you can just wear a t-shirt out and you feel fine and you still see people wearing their Canada Goose jackets, but you're in a t-shirt, to me that's the best feeling in the world, knowing that this is going to be just getting better from there with the odd setback, like a springtime snowstorm. But yeah, spring, easily my favorite, just for that reason. It's kind of like having to really go to the bathroom, and then when you finally get to go, it's like, that's the feeling you get when you can finally step out with like a t-shirt on and not feel like an idiot or feel cold. Doing any future videos with other YouTubers or local Torontonians? Nothing in the pipe right now, but I do have a few back and forths, and I do have a list of people who reached out to me on something that I brought up on my other channel of possibly going out with other viewers, and I'll probably experiment with that on the other channel, not this channel. Alex says the only positive thing about winter is Christmas and your birthday is next month. Monica says fall is her favorite too. You agree Canadian winters are boring. Jeanette was wishing it would snow in Houston. 23C currently. Cold weather is so invigorating. Yeah, it is, but I think most of us would gladly trade places with you, Jeanette, for the long term. It's one of those, the grass is always greener. Do you like shawarma? Yes, I do like shawarma. That was a really easy question, Dan. Thank you. What's the best compliment and worst insult you've gotten as a content creator? The best compliment is actually coming up in a video I recorded last night. Somebody saw me filming and said that he was watching my channel from the UK every single day in the background, checking with like the website about like immigration status, if he could come here. And because of the pandemic, that of course was like 10 times harder than it probably should have been. And he said that my channel like gave him that push to go ahead and move. And now he's here with his better half, and they found a job and an apartment when they're living here. And we talked for like 3 minutes. It's all in my video, but that was an amazing compliment. The worst insult, I usually roll my eyes and laugh at the insults. I've had people insult me about every single aspect of the videos, so I don't really care. I'll see if there's a morsel of truth or something in there that I can use, but that's about it. What size of shoes do you take? Either an 11 regular or a 10.5 wide. Usually, I try to get a 10.5 extra wide, but some brands you can't do that, and usually an 11 works. Never a 10. I just cannot fit into a 10 to save my life, unless I'm at a bowling alley. Then for some reason 10 just fits perfectly. I don't know why that is, but yeah, 10.5 or 11. What gear setup to use for a heavy snowfall day like this, Mega Man? An umbrella, and hopefully a glove over the camera. And hopefully the camera lens doesn't get some snow on it and you get a big smear or splotch, but that's about it. Thank you, Lisa. Is the guy's name Matt Ador? No, it is not. His name is slipping my mind, but it is on camera. But if it was Matt, I would have recognized him. He said he was more of a lurker than a chatter. Dylan says it's 4:15 a.m. and we're watching from Istanbul, Turkey. We will be in Toronto before the end of 2021. Can you tell us the best craft beer in town? That is very, very subjective. But I quite like Radical Road Brewing. I've been there like 2 or 3 times, and their stuff has just blown me away. And that's in Leslieville. Have you traveled to... Ooh, you're making me say the E word. As we learned the other day, the locals say Edinburgh? No, I have not. Although my mom is from Scotland. Jacqueline loves the snow videos. Sleeman's. So Sleeman's isn't really craft beer. That's kind of like a mainstream beer, right? And it's owned by Sapporo, I think. So it's not even like a small craft beer. All right. But yeah, a lot of people, if you want to have a fun experience, the Amsterdam Brewhouse down on Queen's Quay, I know it's kind of big and it feels like a commercial place, but it's actually a really fun place to go and get a meal. And also you're on the waterfront, and they have a secret menu. They have taps that aren't on the menu, and that's always really neat to try. So a good idea is just to order flights. Just if you're there to drink a lot, just order flights, and then you can taste a lot of the beer rather than... There's nothing worse than getting a pint of beer that you've never had before, and on the first sip realizing you don't like it, right? So I think that's where flights are the way to go. John says snowing in the video, but it was snowing earlier today. I made 2 videos for what it's worth. One of them was cut short because my memory card was full, but it still ended up being like 26, 27 minutes. The Exchange Brewery in Niagara Falls is really good, says Novell Koss. John says he's always open to IPA. Do you have canned ham feet, which you term for... Yes, I have duck feet for sure. Have you toured the Labatt Beer Factory towards Mississauga? No, I have not. I remember when that used to be on the 401, just on the south side, as you were heading east, right after the Molson plant, which is still there, and that's on the north side. Dippy and Johnson saying hello to Maroof. So, the green screen, which is behind me, this, which you cannot see, but it is right there, makes its first appearance, albeit very briefly, in a regular Johnny Strides video tomorrow. So I just thought maybe it's more of a gimmick, but I thought I would break it out and try it. So you can look forward to that. It'll only be about 15 seconds of green screen action, but I'm just trying to have some fun with it. And I've been learning a lot of new editing techniques, and I'm ditching my current editing software and I'm moving to a different suite. And I've been spending my downtime just like reading, watching tutorials and relearning how to edit and cut stuff in different software. So my goal is next year to be completely migrated away from the software I'm using and completely using DaVinci Resolve Studio. So no one asked me that, but I just started talking about it because I pointed to the green screen. It lets me just do way more with this type of thing. Anthony says he's watching on his TV and his phone. It feels peaceful. Thanks. Hey guys, you can ask me questions. I did put AMA in the question or in the title, but if you just want to hang out and listen to me ramble about editing software, then by all means. Well, yes, the distillery district is basically blasting Christmas music, so I'm gonna have to upload the audio ahead of time and make some clever edits to smooth that over. But yeah, there is a daytime distillery district video coming up. I don't want to give more away than that. Marg H, $5 for a minute of silence. Marg H. Countdown timer, 1 minute.
Okay, 1 minute. And we're...
Uh-oh. How do I do this? 59 seconds. Okay, Marg H, your minute of silence.
For a minute of silence.
Alright, we're back. Sorry guys, all reasonable super chats will not be ignored. Wonder what 45 minutes of silence costs. That costs you about $1 a minute. I'm pretty cheap, Rev. But I don't think I would do more than a minute. You can learn sign language. Sign language would be incredibly useful. Novell says that typing is not silence. I made the executive decision that silence meant shut up with your mouth, not your fingers. So, you gotta draw the line somewhere. Thank you, Marg H. Who do you want to win the Grey Cup? I guess Hamilton, since they knocked off Toronto. So, there we go. Did you miss a snowy day? Michelle Briggs, this is from 2 years ago, so you didn't miss a snowy day recently. Maybe you missed this a while ago, but today we did have snow. Wasn't a great snowfall, but it was enough to make 2 videos out of. And I think it might be warming up next week. Would you travel to Beijing? No, the Canadian government is putting a diplomatic boycott on the Olympic Games, which is kind of interesting. I think it's the right thing to do because it's just not fair to the athletes to pull the plug on it at this stage, because we should have done that a long time ago, but nobody has a pair of balls anymore. So no, I wouldn't go to Beijing. I don't want to go into it any more than that, but Taiwan is definitely on the travel to again list in the future. Southern Ontario might be getting a white Christmas this year. Hopefully. I hope we get it. Ian wants the Blue Bombers to win. Mo says 14 Saturday. Is it going to be 14 on Saturday? That would make Saturday... It says 13 on my phone. Holy cow. But it also says snow. So that could just be rain or light flurries. That'll make Saturday a pretty good day to get out there and live stream, wouldn't it? All right, happy birthday, Mike, and I wish you all the best with Victoria. And I hope, yeah, I could make a smart ass joke there, but happy birthday, Mike. Where's Justin Bieber's house in Toronto? I don't know, but I heard that Shawn Mendes lives down in City Place. Old belligerent. Yeah, there's some very... I watched a video online of a documentary by a Chinese citizen who actually went into that region and recorded the camps. And it's scary. And then he snuck out of China, and obviously he can't go back. But there are just dozens of giant prison-like facilities all over the place that aren't on satellite image view for maps or anything. So there's definitely something spooky going on. John O'Meara says, Esargots, it was a super chat request. It was, to be quiet for a minute. Yeah, I heard that. Does Shawn Mendes... Maybe it was just like an Airbnb? According to recent social media, Mendes and his girlfriend are currently staying at the condo in downtown Toronto with their adorable pup, Tarzan. So they do have... And based on the view, that could be City Place. Based on the view from the condo, it looks like... I just heard a rumor that he lived there. G. Bansel says, hey man, I met you down east side last night. It was good to finally meet you. Yes! So we talked about you earlier because someone asked me what the biggest compliment I got was. And I mentioned that I had a nice conversation with someone from the UK who watched my videos and had used them to stick with their plan to move here because the pandemic just threw up all kinds of ridiculous roadblocks in that process. So welcome to Toronto, and it was very nice to meet you. And you will appear in a video coming up, I think on Friday's video. Avril Lavigne is from Belleville or maybe Napanee. I think she's from Napanee. How worried are you about slipping on the ice? I'm not worried at all. Just walk heel to toe and walk normally. It's when people that slip are when you get skittish. It's like the people that like slow down and stop at the top of an escalator. We all know these people. You're walking up the escalator, you're right behind them. Then when they get to the top, they just stop and freeze like they're about to do the most difficult thing in the world. And they slowly and you almost slam into the back of them and knock them over because why did you just march up an escalator and stop, right? That's kind of my mindset with walking on the snow or ice. I just walk heel to toe normally. It's not normally an issue, but when you slow down and you kind of go flat-footed, that's when you're more likely to slide, at least in my opinion. So no, I'm not worried at all. I just walk normally. Black ice, another story. That'll kick your butt if you're not careful. You slipped on some grease someone had smeared on the sidewalk the other day. That's terrible. Carl, that's a funny joke. Or insist on leaving the subway car first. Yeah. The worst are the people that rush onto the subway, and then right when they get into the door, they stop. As if there's nobody else behind them trying to get on and beat the chimes to get on. Like, when you get on the subway, immediately get the hell away from the door area to allow other people to move in behind you. Don't just stop. I have knocked people over because they do that. When you live at Eglinton Station and you're taking the rush hour train to get in downtown, you pretty much run the risk of missing several trains if you don't get on one. So, yeah, that has actually happened. Oh my god, escalator stoppers, big pet peeve of mine. Double if they are texting as they do that. Yeah, don't do it on the left side. The right side is for the standers. Perfectly reasonable, but if you're walking up the left side, just keep walking. It's not difficult. No one has ever died because they took a bad step off an escalator. Like, it's not that hard. Just my opinion. Don't hate me if you disagree with me. But yeah, I kind of roll my eyes at people that do stuff like that. Like, what the hell are you afraid of? You're stepping off an escalator. It's not that hard. Johnny Strides, did you go to the same guy who cut your hair before? No, I went to an old reliable place, and the person who did it, yeah, they cut my hair like once 3 years ago, and I thought they were pretty good, so I got their name, and I'll ask for them again. Your name's Goopy. Lol, you know, when I finally set up my channel, that's a clever name. Let me know, and I will pull up your channel. Apparently, he's made some videos around Toronto. I will pull up your channel on my other channel, Johnny Stumbles, when I do my Sunday night streams. That's one of the kind of segments I do when I talk about other YouTube channels. So we can do that there. Have you ever walked into a street sign? Not as an adult, maybe as a kid, but I don't remember. Someone pushed you on a train. That sucks. Photos from around New York says this makes me want to go sledding. Last year I did a video from Riverdale Park of people sledding. It was also a really fun live stream. Just because we were like completely closed down, and just to hear kids out screaming and having fun was kind of a really... It was almost surreal because the lockdown was so strict last winter. So hopefully everything is much more so than it was last year in that regard. But I'm probably going to go back to Riverdale. They got 2 badass hills on each side of the park. So that makes for a fun video. Review. You cut your own hair. I don't think I could cut my own hair. Prince Harry owns a pad in Kensington Market. Neat. As long as our tax money didn't subsidize that in any way, good for him. Great place to live. All right, Brad Palmer. Good that you're now off. Oh, I thought you were saying you're going off. I jumped the gun reading your comment. Do you enjoy the odd cognac? Sorry, I can't pronounce that. On the rocks. I don't really like any hard alcohol on the rocks. It's kind of... I need to cut it with something, hence the gin and tonic or whiskey and anything. Johnny's haircut gives me boy band days. Psst, Nick Carter. Henry, this is an old video we're playing, just on a hangout. I didn't feel like going out tonight and freezing my butt off holding the phone on a gimbal. But, like I said, I will try to get out either tomorrow or Friday and do one of the traditional streams, but there'll probably be more of this kind of stream, even though view-wise, yeah, we're at 335 viewers. We'd probably be over 500 if I was outside, but when you stopped for gas on the way back, the last driving stream, did you let that fun? Novell, I don't think that was what you think it was. I'll just leave it at that. What day did you record the Snowfall? No, this was 2 years ago. This was not... You'll notice no one has masks around their chins, right? This was 2 years ago. What area does Drake live? He lives in the Bridle Path. I did a video on that area very recently. Someone asked, planning to visit Toronto soon, choosing between February and March. What did you choose? Coming from Bogota. Haven't been... flip a coin. March is generally our worst month weather-wise, but you might like that. So, flip a coin. March... towards the end of the month, you might even get some very spring-like days. Tara says, Johnny, you walked into a post and all. I don't think it was a street sign, though. That was the question, street sign. Johnny looks like Frankie Muniz. I'm not going to say that's a compliment. Thank you, TP. When are you doing a walk from Islington Avenue West and Steeles Avenue West? I don't know, Harjot. Those areas are kind of way out there. Those are more like January, February kind of walks. We got a lot of stuff within the core to explore for the rest of the year. Fans Buses Gaming is late. There's no such thing as being late. Animal says, I will walk for you and record live and not talk. You can talk from home. That's a neat concept, but I think the technical setup would have to be pretty impressive. Red or black? I don't know. Are you talking about Johnny Walker? What are we talking about? Curious where the streetcar's running. Probably. We're on, where are we now? We're on University Avenue, this looks like. But, yeah, they don't Streetcars run fine in the snow for the most part. Anyone know any nice festive walks around Toronto? Festive? Distillery District before 4 p.m. It's free. You need to have your vaccine certificate thing to get in, but I wonder if you go at like 3:50, do you get in and then everyone after 4 has to pay? How does that work? Is it gin and tonic again? It is. I would drink beer, but you can kind of see right through the can here. Yorkville is festive. Yes, Yorkville is definitely festive. City Hall is festive. If you take City Hall and you pair that with the Trinity Square right across the street, that's pretty festive. What's the plan for tonight's stream? Just ask me anything. We'll hang out. And that is that. We'll keep this going for at least an hour. University Avenue is strange. It's got so much potential to be this big, great, grand avenue, and there's some absolutely gorgeous buildings there. But you get the feeling that it's a bit soulless. Action Kid says Kringlewood is festive, except for some snooty residents. You know, I looked at my other videos, and I was kind of hovering around that lady's house for a while, because it was right where I ended my first video. So I sat down on the curb because there's no parks or benches, and I put my camera away and I set up my live stream all in front of this lady's house. She must have saw me do that, and then she saw me walking around an hour later with the gimbal and probably freaked out. So sorry, Karen, you're still crazy, but not as crazy as maybe I made you out to seem. Johnny, do you ever go to Buffalo Bills games? Now that you have to get a PCR test just to come back, no. But the last Bills game I went to was 2 years ago. So yeah, I saw them play the Miami Dolphins. I love going to the Bills. It's a pretty awesome experience. I hope that Toronto gets an NFL team. And if we do, I don't think it'll even kill the CFL team because their fan base is so small and hardened anyway. Carl looked at a condo on University, 33, the Empire Building. Big units, nice. Big units must mean expensive. All right, Bevy, have a good night. Would you ever do a UFT campus walk or any campus walk? I've done several UFT walks, Stephen, and I've live streamed through there several times. I've also done Ryerson and York. I think those are the only 3 universities, and several George Brown colleges. So they're not copyrighted. Security doesn't care. So I think it's pretty fair game. Has anyone ever thought your gimbal was a firearm? No, but since Action Kid's here, maybe he could answer that one. Nobody has ever thought that. Going with Ian watched the live stream Action Kid did last Christmas up to 4 hours. I don't think Action Kid is human. The amount of content he's able to make, like, you know, I push 20, 25, 30,000 steps every day, but he's got to be more than that. Like, he's a machine, and it's all really, really good stuff. So if anyone's going to do a 4-hour walking live stream, it's Action Kid. I think he even did a 5-hour one once. Your gimbal looks like a firearm. Matt, Mary Pratt Joyce, if you use more than 21 caps on your message, Nightbot's gonna nuke it. I had to set the limit somewhere. So unfortunately, your very nice message was nuked for too many caps. Johnny, tell people that proper side to walk on the sidewalk. Action Kid confirms no one has thought that his gimbal was a firearm. Cops are out like crazy. It's Young and Bluer. It's nonstop horn blowing all day. Yeah, there's probably a lot of emergencies to respond to on a day like this. My longest stream, I think, is like 2.5 or 3 hours. It's not too often I reach out and pull the battery pack out and plug in while I'm streaming. Action Kid only did 15,812 steps today. I did 14,324. So even though I filmed 2 videos today, you still topped me. And you probably had, and you said only, so this is a lower day for you. Action Kid's trying to beat the next billionaire. He's well on his way, based on his popularity. Are you collabing with the Urbanist soon? Hey, this is my AMA, Henry Rollins. But Action Kid's free to answer. Sorry, your phone. All right, Mary, no, no worries. The Bills are playing Tampa Bay on Sunday at 4:30. Can't wait. Go Bucks. All right, where are we on this video? This video has 1 minute and 25 seconds left. So when this video ends, I'm going to take a quick break. I realize I have my gin with me, but I don't have my tonic. So I'm going to get a refill and come back. Ooh, that sucks. A car. What, Pusateri? Johnny, can you do a tour of Scotiabank Arena if you go to a game? I don't know if that's allowed. And during a game, it would also just be copyright music blasting the whole time. But I've done the path around Scotiabank Arena before. Tom Bikes beat us both in step count. Hey, yesterday I had a 32,000 step day. And I only recorded 1 video. So don't ask me how that happens. Action Kid needs to do a collab with Johnny in Toronto. Maybe one day. Rolling with Ian says, when's Action Kid coming to Toronto? I would recommend he comes next summer. I don't really, I mean, he's already in a big cold city. I think there's just, it's just more enjoyable. And then you could go up to Montreal and maybe do Ottawa. Do a little tour of Canada that way. Hey, we have a new follower. Sweet. Nathan Phillips Square. Yes, this is Nathan Phillips Square. And that is how I used to end my videos. Devin Sullivan says, I continue to have his permission to play his videos if you wish to play something different. All right, I'll take a look. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to fire up a new video. This one was recorded on Sunday, November 22nd, 2:20 in the morning. And we're starting off right where the last one ended. So I will be back, folks. Get your questions ready for when I return. I'm still right here, by the way. Chris Mills randomly says Doritos. It looks like I have some settings to adjust on my camera setup, but hey, the microphone is coming down. into the shot. Soup is perfect for that hot weather. Yeah, ramen, beef noodle soup. The floating office chair is funny without Johnny in it. Oh, that was the thumbnail for this video right there. I recognize that moment. This is also one of my most popular videos, I think. Funny how they tend to be snow videos in Toronto. Let's take a look. This is my 4th most popular video of all time. It has 227,000 views. I have one video that's 45,000 views shy of a million. Yeah, Henry Rollins, I don't get it. What you drink, man? We're having Boodle's gin and tonic. Carl, I did not know that. This AMA has devolved into something else. There's Old City Hall. So this part of Queen Street is going to be a disaster for like 7 years starting next year. It's going to be closed. And I think the streetcars are going to have to circumvent and head down to King for this section. Also, Richmond Street is going to be a disaster because they're building the new subway line. So goodbye Queen Street as we knew it. Maybe it'll be better for pedestrians, but if it's anything like Eglinton, it's not going to be better. It's just going to be a total nightmare. Here's last year's window displays. Is Winterlicious canceled? I don't know. That's a good question. I could Google that, but also, so could you. Toronto Winterlicious 2021. There's a website. Do you prefer Montreal or Toronto? I quite like Toronto, but Montreal is an awesome city, second best in Canada by far. SR says 7 years. Yeah, it's going to be a total nightmare when they start building this line. Carol Perry. Is there only one line of subway in Toronto? Well, line 1 is really 2 lines. It's really more 1A and 1B. Then there's line 2, which is the east-west line that was built in '66. Then at the end of line 2, there's line 3, which is like a mini... It's considered... It's not really a subway, but it's whatever Vancouver has. And then there's line 4, which is the Shepherd line. Line 5 is coming, which is the Eglinton line. Line 6 is coming, which is the Finch line, but those are really LRTs. So in terms of real subway lines, we've got like 4 or 5, depending on how you want to count them, with some more on the way, which may not count if you don't want to include underground LRTs. But yeah, line 1 really should be 1A is the young side, 1B is the university side. I talked to RM Transit about this in my collab video with him because it's confusing. Jeanette, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out. Because if you're saying you're going north on line 1 from, say, Bloor Street, you could be heading to Finch, or you could be heading way up to Vaughan, right? 2 totally, like, it doesn't make sense. It really should be subdivided into 2. Carl says the Eglinton Crosstown will be amazing. It would be even more amazing if they built the Eglinton subway when they were supposed to, but it'll be cool. Have you been to Little Canada at Yonge and Dundas? No, I haven't. I saw Ken went there, and he put a video up on that. And Ginny from Twitch fame went there, and she streamed from there, which was kind of cool, but I've been saving it. I hope it's still there in like January, February. It looks like a great type of thing to do. John O'Meara says the TTC has terrible signage in Union Station. Oh, the signage, the wayfinding in Union Station is atrocious. Like, I could go in there with 100 Bristol boards and some Sharpies and make better signs than what they have. It's disgusting, yeah. But yeah, when the Eglinton line opens, I'll be doing some videos on that. Hopefully I can get like a cockpit view video where I think that would be really neat to see. Or one out of like the rear of I don't think they'll either side from the cockpit will be neat. You can kind of do it in Ottawa, but you have to look through 2 panes of glass in the booth. So we'll see. Favorite subway station? Downtown Museum. I think I really like Rosedale. I just kind of like the retro feel. But it's an open air station. But it just feels like it's from another era. It's really cool. Davisville is another one that kind of takes on the same look and feel. Davisville is even cooler though because it's got more nooks and crannies. It's got a second platform, and it's got the rail yard. But I feel like a thief if I say Davisville because that's what Armed Transit said when I asked him on our video. Yeah, a lot of the Starbucks on Yonge Street have disappeared, Susan. It's not just that one. Carol says Royal York or Old Mill. Those are great. And especially the scenery around Old Mill. I need to go there. I need to go do a live stream around Old Mill. Should we do an Old Mill Royal York live stream tomorrow? I'm writing it down. I got a whiteboard beside me. That is a fantastic idea. I've started one in Kipling that ended up all the way that far. I'm not sure I'm going to want to trek that far, but I could definitely be up for hanging out around that area. Great area. And there's a lot of really big homes and cool things to check out. And you can go by the river and then you can pop up and then you're in a pretty cool neighborhood on Bloor Street. So thank you for bringing that up. It's like, why haven't I been there in a very long time? It's such an awesome idea to do a stream from there. And then I'll probably just do a regular video from there at some point as well. Your idea whiteboard is almost empty this time of year. I've got do Kensington Market on Sunday afternoon on mine. That was last Sunday. I did not do Kensington Market. I've got Lansdowne from Queen to DuPont. I've got a section of Dovercourt Road. I've got another road that is half written. I've got the names of some websites written down. I've got Art Gallery of Ontario is free on Wednesdays. And I've got a note to publish a video on Stumbles yesterday, which I did. I don't maintain or update my whiteboard very much. But yeah, that's just like a place for me to write shit. Because if I put something on my computer, it's going to disappear. Or it's just going to be on my desktop. Even if I put like a notepad on my desktop in all caps, I'm just going to turn on my computer and ignore it the next day. So that's what the whiteboard is here for. Are you British Canadian? I'm Canadian. I think my dad was like several generations in, but my mom was born in Scotland, so make of that what you will. I don't really connect with any of my heritage in any way at all. Ever done a pedestrian Sunday in Kensington? I think I did. They're not doing that now in winter, but I did that way back. Those kind of got killed during the pandemic, I think. But yeah, I think I did a few of those like 2-3 years ago when the channel was new. But I definitely need to go back. Angus Steakhouse by Royal York Subway. Yes, I have walked by that steakhouse many a time in some videos. We should do a driving video from Toronto to Buffalo. That would be fun. If I can find a camera that wouldn't overheat for that distance of drive, that would be a challenge. But yeah, I should do a driving video from that. All right, Alex, have a good night. Your planning whiteboard helps a bunch. You tried doing a strip board like a production would use, but you need to get a bunch of Velcro to make it work. Pete says, good night, Johnny. Thank you for the wonderful stream. I enjoyed it, bro. Hope you have a wonderful day. I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon. See you soon, bro. Bye. All right, Pete, have a good night. Like I said, I'm thinking Old Mill might be a good one. The Humber area might be good. Mimico, New Toronto, maybe go all the way to Long Branch. I think we need to give the west side some love. So hopefully I'll get out and I won't be lazy. Here I am wiping off the lens. Oh, there's Panera Bread. Remember when Panera Bread was a thing? I wasn't too fond of their actual stuff, but I liked just going up to the second floor and kind of hanging out there. It was a really nice reprieve from Yonge and Dundas. So Panera Bread was still there. Jollibee was not yet open, and I think the Jordan store was still there. And that looks like about the level of snow we had today. That might be a bit heavier. Any Elf on the Shelf sightings in Toronto? If I didn't have my green screen behind me, I could show you some Elf on the Shelf. Have you been to Trenton? I have. I went fishing in Trenton once, a long time ago. Dark Fusion says the Samsung 21 Ultra phone is great. My webcam is a Galaxy S20 actually. This is my streaming hotspotting phone that I'm using. Carol Perry says Long Branch is beautiful. Murray Curtis Park is super underrated. It's a great park. Anything is a nice reprieve from Yonge and Dundas. Really? Anything? Anything? I think we can think of some places that are a bit of a step backwards from there. The breakfast food was greasy, but otherwise okay and convenient. Top City, I can't get to every single comment. Top City said that haircut looking fresh, you look 20 years younger. Well, I am 41. Devin says, I didn't see a chroma key screen. I've showed it before. Is that what you didn't see? The only problem with my setup from a technical point of view is there is a little bit of shadowing going on. And it's close to me. The shadow is because the screen is so close to me that it's impossible to eliminate the shadow. Luckily, it still works perfectly. The other problem is it's so close to me, green bounces off of it and hits me in my chair. So it takes me a really long time to tune that out in the chroma key settings. But yeah, I am using chroma key. These are my iPhone chroma key settings. Look at that green around me. Ugh. This is for another camera, and this is for this camera. So yeah, there is a green around me. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I pulled the screen down, Devin, so if you missed that part, then you wouldn't have seen it. But yeah, there's the secret. And I mentioned this earlier, but you will see me use the green screen in tomorrow's video for like 15 seconds. Lisa's closing in on the 40s Club. Welcome to the 40s Club. Saw on the news tonight a woman drove her car through the barrier on the US side of the falls and ended up in the Niagara River just short of the falls. Yeah, what was she thinking? What was she thinking? Yeah, I don't have any opinions on crypto, but okay. Other than I have a bunch. We're just kind of along for the ride. Devin says, yeah, no bueno to tune that awesome setup. Thank you. What I need is to get some space behind the green screen, because if I can get some space behind me, I can just it'll just work better with the lighting. But hey, I made it work now with the way it is, so. And I've been looking at some other YouTubers through green screen, and I don't mean to nitpick, but I think they could do better. And like some of these are really, really big, popular YouTubers, and I think if with this ghetto cheap setup I put together, I can do this, and some of them don't even have it this good, it's kind of surprising. A lot of times you see that like green glow all the way around them, and you're just like... Barefoot says you don't look that old. Well, I am 41. Is it possible she had a medical episode? Yeah, could have been a seizure, right? Something like that. And now we're at College Park, which this stretch here is a construction nightmare. They're doing water main replacement. Diane Hill says, why did you get a green screen? One of the reasons was so I could do this. I just think this is better if we're watching videos together than my kitchen in the background. I don't really have a space that's appropriate to build like a proper studio and light it. It also lets me have fun. I like toys. I like learning new skills. I'm kind of a geek, so it was just one of those fun, goofy ideas, and it wasn't that expensive an investment, so if it didn't work out, it would have been fine. I wouldn't have cared. I'm just reading some of your messages here. SR Got says 41 is an old. You should do a Dead Mall series of Toronto. I did a video that went pretty well was my video on the shops at Aura. Jen Marbles painted herself like a green screen. Oh, that would be really awesome. Who's older, you or Ken? I think Ken's about 10 years my senior. Someone drove their car into Pusateri's today. Hopefully no one was hurt, but those people are assholes who overcharged for like Lysol wipes when the pandemic started, so I don't feel any sympathy to the owners of that store. And now to see Starbucks coming into view. Oh, the one on the left. Yeah, that's surprising. Like right at College and Young. That one was always packed too. I don't know. They probably have their metrics and reasons, and it probably had a lot to do with having lower rent locations nearby, and they really consolidated. So I'm sure so many people use the apps to pre-order, and they're going to go to Starbucks anyways. They did some math and said, we don't have to be in as many locations as we are. And they probably killed a lot of the higher rent locations, knowing that the other locations would pick up the slack. Oh, that sucks, Carol. Carl remembers being 41. His life changed when he turned 42. Hopefully for the good. College Park is the only place left with a Taco Bell. There's a Taco Bell at the Young Eglinton Center, Susan. And isn't there a KFC / Taco Bell in Koreatown, or is that just a KFC now? Or did that close? Hello, Lace. How many people do we have viewing this? We have... Oh, we're down to 281. I must be boring everyone and putting them to sleep. It is a Wednesday night, though, and this is kind of a makeup for not going outside. Fun fact, there are only 29 McDonald's in North Dakota. How many Burger Kings are in North Dakota? How many Wendy's are in North Dakota? What about Carl's Jr. or Hardee's? I mean, if the 29 McDonald's was low, was a good figure, I would expect there to be like 20 Burger Kings. But if there's like 100 Burger Kings, then yeah, there's something weird about North Dakota. Why are we talking about this? There's a Taco Bell KFC at a Dufferin Mall too, if you remember correctly. Starbucks should rename themselves to Starducks Coffee, only in Canada, eh? Oh, there is a Taco Bell at Young Shepherd as well. So why did Susan say the one at College was the only one? Devin says 200 likes though, not too shabby. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not all about the views and trying to amass as many of those as possible. I think these streams are fun, so I might continue to do them fairly regularly. I'm not going to do less going out live streams. And the one I did on Friday was quite successful, although that one featured all new footage. MSF Clip says, hey Johnny, hello. So we are now going north up the east, or the west side of Yonge, and there's a Starbucks that I think might be now defunct at Wellesley coming up. Carl's Jr. had good wavy and curly fries. I saw Mike Bullard at Carl's Jr. on Queen Street West. Johnny the dog, no barking. Is it okay? At this hour, they're generally home. Liz, 279. What was your most embarrassing moment? I need some context. Give me some context. What was your most embarrassing moment? Let me think on that for a second. And we'll let our super chat reading assistant kick in a moment. Where is our super chat reader? Hello?
What was your most embarrassing moment?
There we go. Thank you, Liz. Davin says if he gets a green screen, he might do the same. I'm gonna say it was my first ever live stream, because it was entirely accidental. I was meaning to do a private stream. This was back before, now so many of these channels do live streams, but this was back before when it was really just Action Kid and a very few others that were doing it. And this little idea popped into my head that maybe you should start doing live streams. A lot of people were asking for them in the comments, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. It seems like a big hurdle to get over. And I went out on my balcony, and I thought I was doing a private live stream, so I went to the YouTube app because I'm an idiot and didn't know that nobody live streams from the YouTube app. And I thought it was on private, and I went live, and the next thing I knew, there was 20, 30, 40, 50 people watching. Keep in mind, this was before I ever did a face reveal on the channel. This was before I did narrated walks or talked. Everything was like... And then I accidentally spun the camera around to my face so everyone saw what it looked like. But I was also not wearing a shirt. This is summer. I'm just chilling at home, like just wearing shorts. No shirt because why not? It's really hot. I've got the AC blasting. So yeah, that would be my most embarrassing moment on this channel, was revealing myself for the first time shirtless on a live stream. And that live stream is private to this day. And I didn't even have the Stumbles channel back then. I only had this channel. So it went on my main channel, which I think had like 15,000 subscribers at the time. Is there a link to this? No, that video is private. Maybe we'll turn it into an NFT and sell it one day. Or I will just watch it. If I ever end the channel, if I ever decide to kill the channel, I will put that video public. How's that? Johnny doesn't embarrass himself like the rest of us. Well, I embarrassed myself pretty good that night. But yeah, there's my most embarrassing moment. Carl says, I remember Johnny doing quiet videos without the voice, then going to voice. Yeah, that was a big movement for me. If I go... I'm building up a library of quiet videos, but current ones, but I want to get a new audio setup so I can get some binaural audio. I really think if you're going to do quiet videos and not narrate, you should be technically excellent, right? Your video probably HDR, your audio probably binaural, so you've got like really cool engrossing surround sound going on. But yeah, because I mean, just pointing at something with a camera, using the camera audio, it's not that intriguing, and everyone does it, right? You want to do something to stand out. So I'm currently going down that path of getting back into the quiet videos, but not for this channel. I have another use for that. Lisa can't decide if NFTs are brilliant or just horrible. I think they're both. I think the fact that every corporation under the sun is talking about them in boardrooms and how they can exploit them and make money off of them is absolutely terrible. But when done correctly, I think they're pretty neat, actually. So, a bit of both. Carl says quiet videos are great for testing new tech gear. So is my other channel, Johnny Stumbles. That's where I like to do that. Crossover into that ASMR market share. There's a channel called Nomadic Ambience that does that probably better than anyone. It's really, really good at that type of experience. And hey, it says we have 308 viewers. Neat. Glenn Parent says that's not a snowstorm. I don't think I called this video a snowstorm. What I need to do is do some more Twitch streams. Rolling with Ian, I'm under my current setup, I'm just gonna let it run. But I can tell you, what video is this? If you want to check that section out. Johnny low-key face revealed at the end of a Taiwan video. I did. What video is this? Downtown Toronto Snowfall Walk on Sunday. Is this that one? I think this is that one. So you can find this on my main page, and you can go to that section. Chick-fil-A is coming to Queen and Spadina. That's which corner of Queen and Spadina are they going to? Yeah, Ian, this is on the main page. Downtown Toronto Snowfall Walk. It doesn't say snowstorm. We got many snow blizzards in the 50s and the 60s big time. There was also an actual hurricane that rolled through back then, right? Hurricane Hazel. What's your favorite order-in meal? What's my favorite order-in meal? You know, I've really been digging Dave's Hot Chicken. Lately, that would probably be it. What else have I had that's really good lately? Dave's Hot Chicken is expensive. You gotta have some kind of occasion or severe starvation to do that. Rudy's, honestly, fantastic hamburger. I love ordering it, especially with their poutine. I think I'm gonna have that tomorrow. Thanks for planting that seed in my head, but I think I'm gonna do Rudy's tomorrow. Alright, we're going to do one more snowfall video. When this one is done, downtown snowstorm. I wrote snowstorm on this. Uh-oh. I'm going to get... I remember this one. This one was not actually a snowstorm. This was a long time ago. Pretty bad, but storm this is not. It's funny, we just talked about that. And then I load up a video where I mislabeled this blatantly. You had a burger from Peppers. I don't think I'm familiar with that. Review says Rudy's is great. It's absolutely great. Jimmy, I'm more of an urban-based channel. I don't even do the suburbs. Although, honestly, I think the suburbs are the worst of both worlds. It's like everything that's bad about the countryside mixed with everything that's bad about the city. I'm sure there's other channels that'll do that. If I ever go away, I might do one, like if I go to Muskoka, I might do a walk up there just because I'm there, but I'm not going to go out of my way to do that kind of thing. I'm really all about urban exploration. Not so much the quiet stuff. We'll let there's so many channels out there. Like, other people can cover that. You know, it's like when people say, like, why don't you go to Brampton, man? Go to Brampton. Make a video on Brampton. I'm like, I'm not interested in that. And my metrics show when I make a video in one of those areas, maybe the total amount of views is the same, but shortly after the video starts, everyone drops off, right? Whereas if I do a Young Street video, people like stay with it the whole time. So, I mean, I want to do my bit to appease the YouTube gods and make videos that I want to do. So that's kind of the reasoning behind that. It's a bit of both. Hong Sing Chinese restaurant was great after a club night. Oh, on Dundas? Near Dundas and Elizabeth, I think. Glenn says Toronto knows how to handle snow blizzards. Yes, we call in the army, right? Wasn't that Mel Lastman who did that? Famously. Alright, so this video is... It's got 35 minutes left. So after this, we're going to call it a night. And I might possibly stream tomorrow from Royal York, and we'll walk over to the old mill. If I don't do that tomorrow, we'll do it Friday or Saturday. Have you seen the movie The Assistant? Your girlfriend suggested it. It's pretty good. The Assistant movie. Maybe. Might be one of those movies. No, I have not. But it's only an hour and 29 minutes. That's a bit of a red flag, but it's also a good thing. I like short movies. 92% tomato meter, 25% audience score. Wow, that is crazy. Review says Cottage Country is for a certain demographic. Yeah, I think the people that watch my channel are pretty into the big city vibes. I mean, I'll do stuff out of the box. I've done some like hotel reviews. I've done Vaughn. Like every once in a while, I'll do out of the box stuff. I think people like that. But when you start piling on different stuff, you lose interest and alienate your viewers. Has the City of Toronto ever reached out to you? No, they have not. One media outlet recently did, and they asked me if they could use some photos I took on Instagram. But they worded it in a way that they're asking permission to use all of my work. Anything I've done on YouTube. And I was like, no, sorry. I'm not agreeing to that. On an individual basis, sure. If I put a picture on Instagram, you want to put that in an article, go ahead. But don't, I can't just give you carte blanche, however you say it, access to all my stuff. What part of Mississauga are you from? I grew up in the south, mostly Port Credit, Lauren Park, Clarkson. We lived in a few different places in that area. So hopefully that answers your question. Johnny, would you consider doing cat videos? Louis Rossman does cat videos from time to time. No, but if I ever did a cat video, I would need a cat. And it wouldn't go on this channel. It would go on the other channel. That's sort of where all that stuff can go live. Devin says, good eye. Don't let them run off with your IP. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Some videos feel like shill-o-rama, and your current stuff never comes off that way. I try not to shill. Her Ontario and Dundas is a... But aren't they building the much needed LRT line? So I think that's probably for the best. If given the opportunity, would you visit Cat Island in Japan? I've been to Japan many times. AO Island. Oh, sure, if I had the opportunity to. Cats do not respect humans. Cats, I think, some of them are like dogs. They're very into humans, and a lot of them aren't. So, I don't know. I think it's really cool when you see, like, a lion or tiger just acting like like every other cat, being cute and vulnerable. You do see that. Susan's a dog person. Wow, we're really getting off topic here for a guy who makes videos walking around the city. Little cats are the devil. Some of them are. Yeah, I had a roommate who had a cat, and that cat lived with us for quite a long time. And the cat was great. It was one of those cats that would like sit on your lap and you would pet it, and then it would go sit on someone else's lap. It wasn't, I'm going to stare at the window and plot to take over the world by killing everything kind of cat. They're building an LRT that is going north-south, which no one needs. That's the busiest route in Mississauga. The problem with Mississauga is the problem with every other suburb. They're car dependent. Car dependency is the worst thing that ever happened to North America. So I disagree with you. They absolutely have to build out the LRT and hopefully connect it to Toronto. The sooner we stop building roads for cars, sorry to say, the better life is for everybody. The environment, it's better for drivers. The more transit you have, the less people get behind the wheel. So if you like to drive, you should be cheering transit because your life is going to get a lot better. You know, whenever they build a new lane on a highway, within something like 5 years, the volume of traffic increases. So like, it's absolutely stupid to build road infrastructure to accommodate more cars because it literally just means there's more people driving and nobody wins. Congestion gets worse. Transit is the only way forward. It's such a no-brainer, and yet we have very, very dumb politicians who don't understand that, like Doug Ford building a new highway we don't need. RevView says agree, car dependency is the death of everything. It is. It's the worst thing. I watched a video on City Nerd about today. It was like his top 10 like cities that are destroyed by highways in the US basically, or the cities that have the most highways in them in the US. It's just depressing how many great downtowns have like massive freeways ripping through them with giant interchanges. It's quite depressing. SR Gotts lives in a car-dependent suburb of New York City. It's awful. If you're on the other side of the river, life would be so much better. But hey, you've got New York City within arm's reach, right? Ian F says, agree, more transit. Yeah, even if you're a motorhead and you love driving, you should be cheerleading transit because that just makes life better for you. Still waiting for that hovercraft to Niagara. Oh, sorry, Glenn. Yeah, I agree. You wrote in all caps, so unfortunately your comment, but I mean, that's a cool feeling. I fully agree with that. I love how it's not a channel about Toronto. It's really a channel about him and his great rants. He doesn't even realize it. The channel is about the city. I am very secondary to the channel. Johnny, what's your favorite Christmas movie and song? Oh, I hate Christmas songs. They drive me nuts. As someone who used to teach kids in a school where they sang everything under the sun, Christmas music drives me nuts. But my favorite Christmas movie, I would like to say Die Hard, and I know there's a whole debate as to whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie, but I'm going to play it safe and say Christmas Vacation just because it's absolutely a classic movie that I've seen probably more than any other movie. I remember seeing that in like elementary school where like your teacher would wheel in the VCR and the CRT TV and you'd watch Christmas Vacation, and then you'd have another teacher in the afternoon and they would also want to play Christmas Vacation. And I don't think they would dare play that in like elementary school today. Today's kids are way too sheltered for that kind of thing. Lisa says yes, secondary. Well, hey, we gotta keep it about Toronto. Oh Holy Night, favorite Christmas song sung by Celine Dion. Die Hard is 100% a Christmas movie. Netflix does some really, really low budget Christmas movies that I have never really enjoyed. I watched like part of one last night, some new one, and I was just rolling my eyes in the back of my head at how bad it was. I was like, nope, can't do this. I think Netflix is filling that niche of like those like Hallmark movies. Like a lot of their stuff is pretty cool, but then they make a lot of like made for TV, low budget movies, and they make them for every season. And I like Amazon's approach better of actually making movies that people might want to see, even when they go flat. Not sure how anyone can beat A Christmas Story. You'll shoot your eye out. Saw Groundhog Day last week. Classic. Groundhog Day is a classic. So is What About Bob? I think Bill Murray has like the most rewatchable catalog of movies for most actors. He's one of those people I'll watch. Like I'll watch any Samuel L. Jackson movie. I'll watch any Bill Murray movie. There's very few people that I will watch their movie no matter what. Ruben works for Amazon. Well, remember like 5 years ago when Prime Video was basically the Kmart DVD bin? They had a few good original shows and then a horrible back catalog of the worst movies. Now it's like legitimately good. Like props to, I know they're a big evil corporation that has too much power and they profited too much over the pandemic. But their video service, pretty damn good. So I'll cheer that on. Chris Mills says Bill Murray is the ducking best. Bill Murray is great and you love Wes Anderson movies. Yes. What was that one with Bruce Willis in the... Why am I forgetting it? Something about camp? Was it a Wes Anderson movie? Moonrise Kingdom. That is it. I just cheated and Googled. Alright guys, I'm going to be back. Nature is calling, but we'll be back. I'll finish this this drink and we'll let this video finish as I cut myself off. Check connection, or current connection. Excellent. My stream froze on my big screen TV there. Let me fire it up. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Where are we on this film? We've got 25 minutes left. And my apartment is now freezing. I turned off the... Hey, my Amazon Fire Cube has decided to not work. I turned off the heat because it creates a noise which the microphone picks up. But now I'm really cold. So we'll be turning the heat back on as soon as this ends. Directioners is one of the most interesting features of the community. Oh. You love how Toronto has those electric streetcars. They look so futuristic. We rarely have them in America. I think light rail and streetcars are kind of having a bit of a renaissance in North America. We're seeing more cities have that. Ian's solution was, would we want a self-driving car? Here's how the future is going to look in terms of self-driving cars. Basically, our streets are going to be full of self-driving cars to the point where even buses are kind of made obsolete. And there's going to be different tiers of them. There's going to be bigger vans that fit more people. There's going to be smaller ones. And based on your budget, let's say you're wealthy, you press a button on your phone and then you don't own the car. It's just like Uber or Lyft, but like a luxury car will roll up and you'll get in it and it'll take you to where you need to go. If you're like me, an economy car would roll up and it'll take you where you need to go. Or like a minivan full of other people and it'll make stops on the way. So unfortunately, I think we'll still see class segregation, but we're absolutely going to see just armies of self-driving cars on the road that work with one another and the traffic signals to get to where they're going as efficient as possible. And there's going to be just way less people dying. Jumping in a car is going to be very stress-free, but that I'm absolutely positive that that's going to be our future of self-driving cars in like 15, 20 years. No one will own anything. It'll just be a subscription, right? It'll be like, I subscribe to Lyft. If you're rich, you'll get really nice cars and you'll get it right away. If you're an average person, into economy class you go, right? You'll have to make multiple stops on the way, but it'll be a lower tier vehicle. You might have to wait a little longer. But yeah, I'm bullshitting if I tell you this was my idea. I've been on our futurology and I've watched too many videos on YouTube that all say that is exactly the direction we're heading. But I would bet the farm that we end up with a system like that eventually. How on earth is self-driving cars going to reduce traffic that mass transit can't solve? Pentlands, it's not, but because they can work intelligently with one another, like one of the biggest reasons why we have traffic jams is because people don't follow at a right distance. People, they speed up and then they get too close to the car in front of them, then they hit their brake. Then the person behind them sees their brake and they hit their brake. And we end up with this huge logjam of cars on the highway. Instead of everybody rolling 50 kilometers an hour at a nice pace at a safe distance from the car in front of them, human nature just has people gas brake, gas brake, gas brake, and it creates this accordion bunch-up effect. And then you have people that don't know how to merge, right? It's called the zipper merge, where you go every other car. Self-driving cars solve all of those problems. You can handle an immense amount of more cars on the same roads that human drivers do if you have self-driving cars. So it's going to make a huge improvement on traffic congestion just for that reason alone. That system's already... That loop thing in Vegas is stupid. It's like an underground tunnel that has self-driving cars in it. That, like, why not just put a tram under there? I think that's stupid. There's a great CGP Grey video about this phenomenon. Yeah, I go down that rabbit hole and I watch this stuff quite a bit on YouTube. I'm kind of... Like, I love building subways. I think that's the way of the future, and light rail, and getting our transit network connected. But I also think self-driving cars are a huge part of our future and something to look forward to. And yeah, people like driving on the open roads. I don't know the answer to that, but all I know is people are bad drivers and people die every year because people are controlling cars. Hey, look at Johnny, can't hold the camera straight. Young in Dundas, covered in slop and snow. Yeah, Robert, that's the idea. And because they're smart, they would take themselves off the road and connect to a power station as needed and do it at the optimal times, right? But again, we're a very, very long time away from this ever being a reality. And unfortunately, it's going to be driven by companies like Uber and Lyft. It's not going to be like some altruistic thing, right? Or probably Amazon or Microsoft or Apple, like, you know, it's going to be your typical big corporation profiteering bullshit. Are you ready for another lockdown? I don't think there's going to be another lockdown. At least not one that puts us anything at all like we had before. Yeah, there's the Belief guy in his orange goose jacket. Belief guy, they're on time. I've met him a few times. He's very friendly. Hello, Sanjay in Kingston. What fun would a self-driving Lambo be? I think there'll still be like track experiences and that type of thing for those cars. You know, they dim those H&M lights, but they're still just way too bright. Hey, it adds to the gaudiness of Young and Dundas. Sargots knows the Believe guys thanks to my videos. Yeah, there's the Believe guy, there's the Singing Man. What happened to Walking Man, dude? I don't know, I haven't talked to that guy in a while. What has happened to him? Carol says, I think lockdowns are done. Yeah, what's scary is the Ontario government is suspending or is like indefinitely keeping the emergency orders in place. Like, I mean, Ontario did pause the reopening, but we're like reopened enough now that things are relatively reopened. The scary thing is if they start pulling things back, if they start adding restrictions when the hospitals aren't stuffed, I think that would kind of tell you that there's some sinister intentions, that the control and the shift of wealth is too good. And some of those kooky conspiracy theories might actually be kind of true. But I don't think that'll happen. I think they're just being cautious because there's this new variant. And we're already seeing signs that it's more contagious, but way less deadly. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm no expert. But as long as the hospitals are not overwhelmed, if they want to lock us down anymore, I'll be the first person on Queen's Park burning it down. Electric cars have amazing acceleration, but they have no soul. We need something with big, loud engines. Have you seen the price increase in supply chain problems? Another lockdown would completely break the world. Well, there was a massive, massive shift in wealth from the last ones, right? And unfortunately, it's mostly those in lower classes bearing the brunt of all those increased costs. And it is a worldwide problem. You used to salt the sand and hills in Toronto. We were out as soon as it started, hoping we don't get 2 feet of snow. You endorse electric cars and self-driving cars as long as it doesn't kill off performance cars. Fair enough. Fair enough. I hope one day we don't have to wear those masks anymore. There was a point in time where I think I made that just a bad word on this channel, and we didn't want to talk about it. I'll wear it. I wear it when I'm supposed to, but I don't like it. I don't think anyone likes breathing in their own hot breath in the mask, but I'm happy to at least have the freedom we have. But yeah, these emergency orders need to go. Lisa says, I just want to put a bubble around your dad and call it a day. Hey, same with my mom. Same feeling. But yeah, it sucks to be vulnerable, but I don't know. There's always been people that are vulnerable, right? For health reasons. There's people that they get the flu and they die. If you guys live in a big city, easier to get around, but living in a small town, it's harder. Transport finishes at 8:30. That sucks, Estelle. That sucks. Are things still open after 8:30? Are things still open? Masks are here forever for air travel, you feel. Yeah, you know, I don't think I've ever gotten sick on a plane, and I often fly out in the winter on like 13-hour flights, so I think I could suck it up and wear one for a flight, though. One warning to bicycle drivers, they don't do good in snow. Park them and walk. Glenn, yeah, the roads should be dry if you're going to go out on 2 wheels. I have found that wearing a mask when it's cold out when I'm riding my bike keeps the runny nose at bay. So hey, I think that's nothing like a balaclava can't do, though. It's time to say goodnight to everyone. Sleep well, see you in the morning. Vivian Johnson, thank you for dropping by and watching the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will do, I'll try to do a premiere tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on this channel. Yeah, Novell, but they don't do well on ice, right? But then again, neither do cars. So I think that's the point you're making. And have a good night, Vivian. See how many people are saying good night to Vivian? She's quite the rock star in this community. And we have 13 minutes left. Susan says masks are common in Asia. Yeah, I learned that. And when I moved to Korea, people would often come into work with a cold and they would wear a mask. And I was just like, why aren't you just staying home if you know you're contagious? But their culture is you don't call in sick, right? That's just not a part of their culture. You work no matter what. So I think that's their solution to that. What brand of snow boots do you use, Johnny? It's my first year living in a place that snows in Portland, Oregon. I wear a Columbia brand. I don't really wear boots. They're more like really rugged shoes. They almost look like hiking shoes. They're waterproof. They have good soles. But there's no need to like wear big ass boots, especially in a city like Toronto. You might need it like one day a year. Ian says, this is a great format so you can answer questions about the video. I did that on Friday. I filmed a video just for this. But this is like an old video that we're just replaying, so I don't know. It's more of a freewheeling, let's talk about anything. Even topics that a year ago we weren't talking about in this channel. But I think we're all kind of in this together. Glenn would never go to work. I wouldn't, if I was contagious with something, I wouldn't go out until I'm better. I mean, isn't that just basic human decency? Don't spread your germs. Yeah, Emma, that's true too. Like in Korea, they have yellow dust, which is, I think it's from like northern China and Mongolia. It blows in every year, and people would wear masks to deal with that. You wonder whether you'll be able to visit Toronto in 2 weeks from France. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to, SK Kim. Just make sure you fill out that ArriveCan app. That's the. If you don't do that, you might be in trouble. Lisa wears docs. Yeah, I mean, I saw someone today in like a snowsuit, like a grown-ass adult in a snowsuit and huge boots, and I'm wearing like running shoes and just regular pants. Hua Zhang, do you have another job? It's called Johnny Stumbles, but this is what I do. I make these videos. Fortunately, enough people watch them that I'm able to keep doing this. In fact, Toronto has the biggest underground in North America. I think it's the biggest underground shopping center in the world, actually. People always tell me the one in Montreal is bigger, and then you Google it, and you're like, no, the one in Montreal is not even close to being as big. Randy C. walked into a public washroom with a mask this week and thought, how did I ever do this unmasked? I think that if I ever go into the Bloor-Yonge Station washroom, like, whew, that is not a pleasant place. Whoever cleans that bathroom out, we don't pay them enough. Even if they made 6 figures, it's not enough to go into that bathroom and have to clean it out. Johnny, what's your favorite type of cat? I'm kind of fond of, I'll go with the old female African lion. I just think the females are more badass because they do literally the lion's share of the hunting and they raise kids. That would be my favorite cat. Does that count? Also, leopards, they coexist with lions and they also hunt a lot of the same prey and they're a lot more solitary. Female lion is the ultimate. Female tiger, they have to hunt. Yeah, female, I don't know. Let's just say female lions and tigers. Well, female tiger and a male tiger have the same lot in life. Yes, I've watched a lot of animal shit. You actually went inside the Bloor-Yonge washroom, says Lisa. It's bad. It's bad. Like I said, we don't pay the people enough. Dwart says jaguars. Ooh, the South American big cat. What's the big cat in North America? The mountain lion? I think they're all like relatives of the cougars and pumas. But jaguars are pretty badass as well. The mighty bull is watching. Cool. Use your bathroom. Use Union Station and BCE. In the path, relatively clean. Nice. I get it. Female lions hunt, male lions don't. Well, some male lions hunt. A lot of male lions are not in prides. They are hopeful of joining a pride. So until that happens, they often hunt with their brothers or they buddy up with other lions because most of the game in Africa is really hard to catch if you're just a big-ass male lion trying to catch it. So if they end up in a pride, yeah, they don't do a whole lot of hunting. But until then, they do have to hunt. Then when they get old, they tend to die really quickly because younger male lions outcompete them. Another advantage of being a female lion. Do you only film with pocket cameras? I use the DJI pockets for these videos, and I use a smartphone for the live stream. That's it. Pentland says snow leopards. Yeah, I think lynx, says Skylar. Lynx are small though, right? I think it would be the cougar or the mountain lion. Dude, if you need access to a washer around Yorkville. I think I know where you're going with that. Marg H says lynx. Tom says the variant is super contagious. If it switches to a more deadly, it gets ugly fast. But it's all indications, at least from the South African scientists, are that it's doing what most viruses do. They get less contagious. Viruses don't want to kill the host. They want to live. And they're it's taking on qualities from the actual common cold, right? So there you go. At least that's the hope. You can give me a code, no Subway or Tim Hortons. Before that, Toronto had a big flooding problem in the streets. The grizzly bear is pretty huge. The grizzly bear and the polar bear are almost exactly the same species. They can actually mate with one another and have a pizzly bear as offspring. There's some random info for you. Wolverines are your favorite. Wolverines are distant relatives of the most badass planet alive, the honey badger. They're both parts of the weasel family, I believe. And the wolverine would be the North American equivalent. But a honey badger is actually a lot more badass than a wolverine. But different climates, different prey. Lynx are tough buggers. Why are we talking about this? I was trying to watch a video about a guy walking around the city, and we're talking about cats. All right. Thanks for the offer. Johnny is sounding like my math teacher. You live in Calgary, and cougars coming in to the more fringe neighborhoods is a fairly common danger for outdoor pets. Well, I don't think, other than a bear, there's nothing on the continent that could really get in the way of a cougar, right? And I think that if a cougar saw a bear, it would just shrug and go the other way. Did you guys know the polar bear is not white? If you shave off its fur, his skin is black, says Jim. Well, they're basically grizzly bears, right? With a different climate. And for what you doing after the live stream tonight? Brad, asking the real questions. I think I'm going to have some food, and I'm going to sit in front of the 65-inch TV, which is just over to my left, and I'm probably going to watch tutorials on how to use DaVinci Resolve on YouTube, because that's been my thing lately. What do you like most, Marvel or DC? It says Patrick. There's a real question. I'm going DC because I feel like their movies most convey the atmosphere of the comic books. Marvel is almost too jokey, too lighthearted, whereas DC, they go to those dark places. So yeah, and Birds of Prey was an awesome movie. So DC for me. Johnny, do you remember your first video? Yes, it was a walk up Ossington Avenue, I believe. And then I recorded another one along Koreatown. Since the height of the pandemic, you've been urinating outside, not going into public washrooms, just let it loose in the field or whatever. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you keep your thing out of sight from other people. It's natural. The feral pigs were hunted down in Durham, says Chris Mills. High Park Zoo is a must. Yeah, I tried to go there recently and it was closed when I was there. What's your favorite grocery store chain? Probably Metro, because they have the frozen berries I make my smoothies with constantly on sale. Emma says the MCU movies are terrible. I wouldn't go that far. I just think they don't, especially now that they're like Disney-fied, they don't convey the atmosphere of comic books, whereas the DC movies actually do. For what it's worth. If you've ever read a comic book, you get those goosebumps when you watch a DC movie. Even if it's a shit movie, the whole atmosphere does carry over for the most part. Fans Buses Gaming says, sorry I did not stay long. No worries on that. We've only got 3 minutes left in this video. This has been more of a stumbles kind of conversation lately. I don't know. Aldi, I don't know what you're asking, Estelle. Robert says Sobeys is a good chain. Yeah. Moving to Toronto in April. Where can you find a decent, inexpensive apartment? Jeremy, I don't know what your budget is, but Yonge and Davisville area, phenomenal neighborhood. A little bit sleepy, but you're still right in the heart of Midtown. Tons and tons of rental building stock. So I would look at that. And if you're new to Canada and you don't have a job or credit report, unfortunately, you might have to play this little game of giving them 6 months rent up front to circumvent the whole credit report thing, or an employment letter. If you have an employment letter, you're probably good. But landlords tend to be assholes about that, or they super vet their clients. But never do that with anyone you met online through Craigslist or one of those things. Only in person at with the actual rental management. Aldi is a German supermarket chain. No, we don't have that. Sanjay in Kingston, 99 cents. Thank you. Thank you for your support, Sanjay in Kingston. And Ruben says 6 months rent. That's just a way to get around the whole credit check employment letter thing. But thank you, Sanjay in Kingston, and thank you to all the other previous super chatters who super chatted earlier in the stream. Thank you guys very much. The snow piles up in the forest 20 feet sometimes. That's crazy. Robert says, thank you for an amazing evening, Johnny. Red or black? I don't believe you answered before. Black. Black jelly beans are the way to go. There's my answer to that. I'm taking a jelly bean approach to it. Red are up there. Red are pretty good. They're probably the second best jelly bean, but you can't beat black. Black licorice is also amazing in small doses. I'll eat the shit out of red, but if there's black and red, I'll grab the black one first. Skyline says Yonge and Davisville, good suggestion. I just think it's super underrated because there's so much apartment building stock there. If you don't mind walking 10 minutes, which I certainly don't mind, down Davisville or Merton or one of those streets, there's a lot there, and you're in an awesome Midtown area. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This was another different kind of stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Clayton Crawford, $2. Check the image I sent on your phone. You sent an image on my phone. Did you send an email? Clayton, maybe I'll share that one on my Sunday night Stumble stream. Thank you, Clayton. Hi, Johnny. This is you from behind the scenes. I don't want to show my phone because that would reveal your email address. Have you been to Fiesta Farms? I used to live right around the corner from Fiesta Farms. I used to go there and PAT often as my regular places. All right, guys. I don't have a fancy end screen for this stream tonight, but I can make my arms cut off by sticking them. Look, no hands. Where'd my hands go? But I'm gonna turn off. Holy crap! You know what happened? Is my green screen still working? My lights turned off. how long have they been off? I didn't even notice. At some point, a bunch of my lights turned off. I didn't even notice. But thank you, Ruben. Thank you to our mods for modding. Thank you to our channel members, our Patreon supporters. Thank you to the mods again. And yeah, I'm going to peace out now. So I'll probably stream tomorrow or Friday on the main channel. Tomorrow morning on this channel at 9 a.m. we will do a premiere. So if you want to hang out with everyone and chat some more, come back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. All right, guys. Have a good night. Stay warm and stay safe. Yoink.